So let me just get everything going. It's been a long day for me, my friends. I was up at 4 something. I don't know. I was up early doing the stream, did a recap video. So I might be a little loose. The jokes might be flying a little fast, if you know what I mean. You know, might be a little bit crazy today. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to do 1,000 plus. Let's start at the very bottom. And Christopher Atkinson, so the trick is I have to hit that button. If there's a button to push, it means somebody said something. So, Christopher writes, I feel like I probably shouldn't graduate unless I make it to 2,200, which is the goal. But I'll be damned if I can hit the graduate button at least once. I joined the dojo about a year ago as part of my effort to make National Master as an adult. I've been playing classical games consistently since 2021 and online since 2015. Now that is amazing that he's only been playing classical since 21 and is close to hitting National Master. The dojo has been a huge help in tracking my progress and exposing me to different training techniques. I have made more progress this year in my chess than I have in the 5 or 6 years that I owe most of that to the dojo. The main change has been shifting my time from playing blitz, to analyzing my classical games, beautiful, studying openings and working on calculation. I have also gotten in better shape at age 30 than I have been in at least 10 years based on what Jesse has said about fitness in dojo talks. I really think the dojo is onto something, and I'm crossing my fingers that I can get the last 10 or so points I need for NM through dojo training. Oh, that's a beautiful story, dude. That's a beautiful story. I got to tweet that out or something, you know? All right, let's open Christopher over here. Now, I just want to stress again, so he has made it to the normalized rating for 21-2. I want to stress how exceptional this is for somebody to have made this fast of progress as an adult, right? As a kid, you know, that's different. But going for it like this is really beautiful. Now, I'll tell you what isn't beautiful, Christopher. You got all this white going on over here, Baus. What is that? We're going to go see what that is in a second. But yeah, very impressive to have gotten where you are in this amount of time. Okay, no tests or anything. We're going to take a look at the activity to go see what all that white stuff is that he's been doing recently. Okay, so on some other site, he's doing a bunch of tactics, right? Okay. Good. And again, I really like this story. Let's hit games. We got loads of games. And I don't really want to do that 30-0 game. These games, though, they aren't, okay, wait a second. This is weird. It should be the most recent games first. I don't know why. Maybe it's by upload date. It's probably by upload date. So let's do, I'm tempted by that one because that's a little bit longer. By the way, if anybody's in the chat and wants me to look at a particular game when I come to your profile, fine, just let me know. All right, this one's from October. It's a little long. It's a little bit of a longer time control. Let's click that one. Bang. Okay, first, are there times? No times. So then we're going to go game review. I'm going to mark this bad boy. All right, here we go. This is Chris Atkinson. All fine so far. Fine. Okay. Now, it seems to me that maybe he's just playing chess, which would be fine. Castles, castles, c6. And he didn't even think about taking this pawn. Right. Okay, good. And now bishop g5. So here's the interesting moment, I think, for white. Bishop g5 can sometimes be controversial. And there's a chapter actually in this book, Techniques of Positional Play. I reviewed it, but I've been reviewing it with Jamil, my student. And anyways, I've had friends tell me that in these kinds of positions, GMs generally don't like bishop g5. And the grief is that when black plays h6, our bishop runs the risk, it's not always true, but it runs the risk of getting cut out of the game with g5. Okay, but anyways, let's look. It's certainly a normal developing move. And c6 looks like somebody's prep. Bishop g5, d6, knight d4. I would have, for example, considered playing knight d4 before bishop g5, but okay. Bishop b4, and now if our bishop were on c1, we could play knight e2. So bishop b3, okay. And you're just playing simple and easy chess here, and this guy hits you with a5. Now you're playing someone lower rated, but this guy's playing pretty good chess here, and now comes up with rook b1, or I mean a5, and you have to play rook b1. Okay. Now, one of the things to point out, and maybe I should have said it earlier, is c6. That is your clue that this knight needs to get fixed. This one, it's not clear it belongs there, especially after c6, because there's no knight d5 drama. So this, if you just look at it in hindsight, oh, and you say it. Well, Kraai, look at his notes, buddy. Look at his notes. He says it. And that's the kind of notes you can make that will make you much stronger. And maybe I said something helpful about just being a little hesitant about bishop g5. Okay, so your position's still solid, though. And now you play the ambitious king h1. Okay. h6, bishop h4. And here we see, and he goes for it. This guy, dude, despite the fact that he's rated over only 1,700, he's playing some pretty ambitious chess. Alex, thank you for subscribing. Oh, Gonzalo. Now, good. Did you, if I have time today, actually, I'll do it next, buddy. I'll do your games next. Queen d7. Now, he's got other moves. I think in particular, if I was black, I would be wondering about ye old knight h5. Queen d7, and now you get kind of scared and play knight g1. And definitely black is better. King h7 is a weird move. If you're going to move the king, why not put it on g7? And now we're in trouble. We have a very persistent lack of space now. Okay? That's why he wanted that. I think he should be thinking about the h-pawn instead. Good move. g4, I don't think this is... No, poor move. Now you push past and say, thank you very much. Knight h5. Please take my bishop. Please take it now. All right. Now you play b3. And you're saying d4 is... I mean, yeah. All right. Fine. Black should consider, though, but the problem with b3 is black should now consider b4 so that he denies you the flexibility to play this move. So if we decide that we don't want to let him take, I think we should either play this sad move or a3. And attacking it is also a thing. Here he misses a chance and doesn't play b4. Okay. Now we just have ourselves a spicy situation. All right. I originally wanted queen d3 before I saw f5. f5's a pretty spicy thing for him to be doing. We have to, let's say it's obvious, we have to fix our knight somehow. And you play knight e2. I'm not sure where the knight's going yet. But okay, knight e2. King h8, I don't understand. Queen d2, queen g7. I think he's losing his mind. He doesn't have a plan. Boom. Well, you might be running out of ideas, but your opponent's definitely running out of ideas. And now he plays d5, and here I feel, doesn't seem right to be playing d5. And notice what happens here is, what is he doing? There's a variety of reasons this could be wrong just by calculation, but he's lighting you up, buddy. He's lighting you up. And now you play bishop a2, and then, yeah, you analyze de5, looks correct. Now that looks like the moves of a dude who was terrified of the knight on h5, but really the knight was kind of a chump over there. And knight f4 is the combative option. He chooses this. Good. Rook f7. He just has no fear of you popping him open here like a can opener. Well, that's a hell of a drug. We're going to say he missed that. No comprende. I need to ask an obvious question. Well, let's just show it. Because this was a nice tactic that your opponent missed. Bang! So he just tanks. That's not going to be it, buddy. Now we'll just protect the rook. Very nice. He's not doing nothing. h5 looks nice. Rook e8. Okay. Boom, boom. Looks like you're winning. Good move. Snip. Thank you very much. Okay. So that was a really good game, especially at annotation. And one of the things to see about this is if you just play normal moves in these e4, e5s, you're going to get interesting positions and mistakes are going to be made on both sides. And I think the most interesting one was this bishop g5 mistake, right? And your opponent, I mean, these 1700s, dude, he played a couple good moves, and then he lost his mind later. You know, he played planlessly after he got, I thought, a very nice position. Like after knight g1, we got to be like, oh, well, black's in charge. And so this also shows the power of h6, g5. And I mentioned that earlier on as a key positional idea. And for example, I don't know, he could do a variety of things, but I like king g7, maybe to g6, put the rook here, and then start playing h5. Oh, buddy, that's going to be scary. That's going to be very scary. It's hard to imagine we're going to live through that, honestly. Okay, good. Well done. And let's go check out Gonzalo real quick, because I have a feeling he's saying that he wasn't in there. We talked about Gonzalo. Boy, we did Gonzalo yesterday. And we'll go see if we got some games over here. He's got loads now. And let's do this one. Oh, Kraai. Okay, now we're back into the mix. So sorry, my little thing wasn't great. Oh, no, Gonzalo. All right, time to yell. Time to yell. Look at that, bad. All right, Gonzalo. Let's see what's happening here. Well, you should say thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So here you play way too fast. Yeah. And let's just say the obvious. We do this all the time here. You know, take some inspiration from Ding. The guy's thinking about it. If he has to think about some stuff, maybe you do too. Maybe you do too. Okay. So, bishop g4. Yeah. Now, you did spend 2 minutes, but when we just look at that time graph, oh, Kraai, you got to go back. You got to go back. All right. So, I was so obsessed with that heat graph. Now, the nice thing is, your opponent doesn't know how to play chess and is just moving the developed pieces again and again and again. And you find queen e5. Why is this available to you? Because he's not developing his coconuts. King f1, and now you played in 15 seconds H6. So Gonzalo, this is very clear what you need to work on. You need to work on moving slower. Because Queen E2, man, boom, boom, boom. That's one of the standard puzzle rush tactics they got there. Bang, bang. And I want to stress, I say it in every graduate show, these people aren't developing their coconuts, right? And when they don't develop their coconuts, that's what happens. Very good. Okay, well done, Gonzalo. Let's go back over here. Grad show. Bang. Oh, I got a Stream Deck, baby. A lot of people are jealous. A lot of people are jealous that I got a Stream Deck. Okay, recommendation books and overall direction, very helpful. So this is Blairster. I'm going to open this up. 20-year-old adult improver. Are you really an adult at 20? But I guess so. I guess so. When you get to be as old as me, Bows, you know. When you get to be as old as me, 20 years old sounds plenty young. Started chess in 23. Well, now that's even more impressive. Okay, now, is there dojo points somewhere? So, wait a second. So, dude just started very recently, did a little bit of tactics, but hasn't otherwise done that much. I'm guessing we're not going to see games. Let's see first clubs. He's in the adult improver. Games, yeah. So, Blairster just got here. And Blairster, I encourage you to get this heat map cranking, get these games in here. And then there we go. I suppose if you had asked me at 20, are you an adult? I probably would have said yes too. And, you know, they say 18. You know, you can go to jail proper. You can get called up for the army. That's fine. Let him be an adult. Quad XE. Cross online. Come on. Let him be an adult. All right. This the grumpy old man in me over here. Mura says, what does he say? I click on this button. We're going to get this thing a little bit fixed, this little plus and minus thing. I finally played my first OTB. It's amazing. I'll just say it again. These people have gotten so strong and haven't played OTB yet. Against 2.5 out of 6 against strong people. My initial German rating is now 1685, and I should get an 1827 FIDE at the beginning of December. Your first FIDE, 1827. Stunning. Okay, let's go over here. Mura. Bang. All right. So, there's his German rating. Flying way up. Also really cool, you know, Mura's been in the program a long time. We've done graduation shows with him. Those were all online ratings, and I always tell people, like, the higher you go, the more important it's going to be for you to think about OTB. And he did it. Here he is. Great start. And he did better than, like, the online ratings that he's got. And the cool thing about that, too, is oftentimes when people switch from online to OTB, they have trouble with the three-dimensional aspect of it. That's what they say, but I also think it's partly when they're playing online, they're playing these chumps that aren't thinking, and then you play OTB, and then you're like, oh my God, my opponent's actually thinking. You know, my opponent's actually thinking, what's going on? Okay, so clubs. We got the European, the German, perfect. And then, actually, let's see if I go hours worked over here. So he's been doing some non-dojo. Here's his overall activity. What's the non-dojo? Oh, he's doing all kinds of stuff, dude. All kinds of stuff. Okay, cool. All right, games. Oh, we got loads. So this is a little bit confusing because the two, maybe, is this him? See, it seems like he's W. Martin, but then this one are two different dudes. So now I'm wondering if I should pick this one. All right, I'm gonna pick this one over here, just to make sure it's him. My second classical OTB. Fantastic. Kraai, you're going to need, well, first let's just see the time graph. Oh, we got one. Great. So let's check that out. So what's really cool is a lot of people, when they play an OTB from the dojo, they're like, I can't mark the time down on my score sheet. I just can't even imagine it. You got plenty of time to mark the time. And if you get obsessed, you don't have to do it every single move, you know. But this will just give you a sense of what's going on. And during the game, honestly, it gives you a little pause, just a half a second to write the move down. You'll just be kind of thinking, like, what is the time situation for both players? It'll just be a little check-in with the time every time you write it down. Okay, so beautiful time graph. And let's go to the game. All right. All right, fine. Okay, so bishop b4, knight e2, good move. Knight d4, poor, because not developing. Yeah, castles, good move. a6, poor, why not? Why? Because not developing. Very good. And now you play a3, and let's see what you say about this. I thought about the alternative lines that I give here, but settled on a3 since it felt the most flexible to me. I can always retreat my bishop if he goes to a5. Then his dark square bishop is on a worse diagonal. So you talk about f4, you talk about bishop e3, bishop g5. Yeah. Well, what I sense here is that you felt that you really wanted to not lose your bishop. And one thing to see about this structure is this bishop, I get it, he's a cool looking dude, but he's ultimately our bad bishop because our pawns are on light, and this is our good bishop. It takes a while to understand that. The next thing to say is your opponent has broken all of the laws. All of the laws of chess. And so it's time for them to go. You know, it's time for them to go. And a3 allows black to get some time back, right? So I think f4 is definitely correctamundo. You say bishop c5, king h1, and you say, I wasn't sure how to evaluate this. I should be better because of my development advantage, but he can grab my bishop now. And this is what I'm trying to say. Don't worry about your bishop. Don't worry about that, dude. First of all, bishop b3 is a great position for you, but we have to also add, like, bishop f7 followed by fe looks great, and fe directly looks great. And that's the kind of annihilation we should expect when they don't develop, okay? a3. Now, as it was, he didn't punish you. I think he should play bishop takes, and you write pawn takes, but then what I'm seeing is knight e2, and he's not dead yet. He's not dead. So one of the things I want to stress is, I actually have a Chessable course coming out on this very topic, that at this level where you're at, the key thing to understand is they're not going to give you pieces anymore, not like the under 1,000 people, but they're going to give you tempi like maniacs. Like maniacs, they're going to give you tempi. And learning how to punish them is the important factor. All right. So bishop a5. And so you got a3 in for free. He should have taken on c3. Now he's just as much down in time as he was before. And you play knight d4 after a good think. I still like f4. But one of the things actually to say is clearly you were uncomfortable about that position. Now, you are up so much in time that I still very much believe in your position after knight d4 as well. So here we go. Boom, boom. Now you play knight d5. I was kind of thinking maybe you were going to play knight e2. All right, so here we go. Knight d5. Knight e2 makes a little bit more sense to me because I think he has to waste the tempo, and then he has to waste the tempo guarding it, and then I can start my business over here. against the king. So our pawns are pointing this way. We want to attack the king. All right, knight d5 allows him to trade. Boom, boom. c6, okay. Now that's your dream, right? And now check this out. What should he do? He should develop a piece, man. He should develop a piece. He refuses to develop. Okay, so listen, at this level, there, like I said, prepare your soul mentally for the fact that these people are going to give you tempi like madness. Yeah, bishop c7, terrible. What should he do? d6, castles, maybe queen h4. Any of these moves, but definitely not moving this bishop again. And when they give you time, they're often like doing some kind of cheap trick, a cheapo merchant. He doesn't even know what the cheapo is. But he's just like, oh, I got to attack something, you know? All right, queen h5. I think queen h5 is good. You write queen g4 looks good. f4 looks good. You're going to be doing great. I like your move. Queen h5. You know, the only bad thing about queen h5 is we encouraged him to castle. You know? We encouraged him to castle. I don't know if he was going to do it on his own accord. Now you play f4. Now, we got to mention, though, that bishop g5 is a nice free developing move here because there's no low Puedo f6 play, right? So that looks stronger to me, bishop g5. Maybe you didn't appreciate that the pawn was pinned. I don't know. I don't know. So, d6. Now, I want to say about this f4 move. You're doing great, okay? You're doing great, but with f4, it's really important for us to bear in mind that we need to say to ourselves, oh, when I play f4, I need to eventually fix it. So when we play f4, we're really looking at some point to just either by taking or pushing to get this dude out of the way. That's one of the reasons bishop g5 first is nicer. Okay, d6 finally. f5. Good move. Okay, I like that a lot. That's cool. d5. Well, my friend, this person doesn't like developing. Rook f3. In principle, I like it. Queen f6. You talk about g6. It's hard to imagine g6 panning out. Bishop g5. Yeah. f6. Queen h2. Losing his mind. Absolutely losing his mind. And now we're just winning. Well, that was hopefully a real welcome to the dojo moment for this guy. Oh, look at that, dude. Look at that. So, great game. Great game. And again, you're going to get a lot of games like this where my sense of it is, let's use ChessCom numbers, that between like 1250 and 1850, that's where they're really going to give you the tempi. And then learning how to exploit tempo loss is going to be key. And, you know, you did it. So that was great. All right, let's go back. And next up we have Trey. What does Trey say? I must admit, I went on a nice winning streak to graduate, but I still think I've put in a lot of work this month. I've been playing longer games so that I can use my time and really calculate and analyze those games afterwards, really looking for errors in my thinking or miscalculation. Thank you, Chess Dojo, for giving me a plan to follow. Beautiful. All right, this is Trey over here. Boom. Oh, look at that. So one thing we can see about Trey here is Trey joined last year, but only now with the heat map has the man been on it. Let's see if I go dojo points. Yeah. Now with the heat map, dude is like, now I'm committed. So you were seeing this heat map, oh man, central to people making progress, man. Central. Okay. Clubs. Boston. Nice. Boston College right there. Boston College. So, beautiful. And looks like, let's just click over here. Been doing some opening work in terms of the time, tactics. That looks great. That's a pretty good distribution. Let's check out a game. It's Trey, and he's playing some faster games. Well, we can see, Trey, now that you've seen some of the players who are rated a little bit higher than you, no, it's time to do some OTB, my friend. It's time to do ye old OTB. Ooh, look at this. Here's a nice time graph. I would say that's well done. You know, that's what it should look like. It's a little fast of a game, right? But otherwise, yeah. Definitely this is a little fast for where you are, too. We want a little bit more. Excuse me, game review. A little bit more time. All right, poor. 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 Okay, it's easy to understand Black's moves are poor. But then, you know, we have to come up with some way of attacking this fool. And bishop b5 isn't it, because, well, we're not threatening anything, and it's time for us to bring our coconuts out. So if you came up with nothing else, you should default to a move like rook e1. Okay, so bishop b5. Now you're saying you're getting him to make a weakness, but I don't really understand why that's a weakness. d5. So this seems like your intention when you played for this bishop a4 thing. Right. Bishop b5, bishop a4. Now, by the way, one of the things about, let's call it a hedgehog. This isn't quite a hedgehog, but it has a similarity to it, is that the frustration can often be that it's like, oh, I don't know how to crack him open. And you do want to be a little patient. And here what you're doing with bishop b5 is you're frustrated that you don't know how to open the position. And then you're like, oh, I want to get him to do that so I can open the position, right? Okay. He can do a variety of things here. Knight b6, b5. He goes bishop e7, d5. Okay, seems like your intention. Pop, pop, pop. Yeah. Okay. And you read, I thought this was a slight mistake, and you thought he should have taken on d5. I think if you take us on d5, you're doing fine. I think he's doing okay here, too. In fact, you have a couple problems that you have to deal with in this position. So, rook e1, a6. Now, a6 is probably a fine move. It's very testing. But the old man in me is like, boss, just castle first, please. just get it over with. All right, here it comes. Knight e4, castles. And you play c3. Yeah. By the way, knight e4, good move. c3, you don't like it, and you talk about c4. 30 seconds after playing this move, I thought c4 was better. I don't know if this was a time management issue or what. Yeah. Okay. I understand the motivations for c3. I'm not sure. I think you're trying to tell yourself that c4 is stronger because you're preventing b5. But b5 is going to come. It's going to be basically hard to stop eventually, and then he kind of wants that contact, I think, anyway. You know, whether you play rook b8 or whatever. And now what Black should understand is that your bishop on a4 is kind of a chump as it is. So this is fine, but really you want to go back to c2, right? And now he plays this move. And one thing that Black needs to really think about here is Black needs to trade off a couple pieces. If he trades off some pieces, I think he's going to be better. By the way, he's fine here. He wants to trade some pieces off. So, like, this move would be interesting. His move might be fine, too. And he is going to achieve an exchange here. But yeah, this actually it's bad. His move is poor. Yeah, he needs to trade some stuff off. Trade some stuff off, man. Trade it off. Okay, knight g5, reasonable move. Probably he should take on f3. He goes here. This allows you to pass d-pawn. You say, yes, sir, I want it. And then you do this one, bishop g3, and maybe we're losing a coconut. All right, here we go. f5. d6, I guess it's forced. Bishop d8. Check to the miserable queen. King h8. And now we have big questions. You play knight takes c5 in this position. Here's your variation. Queen a8. Bishop b7. That looks unfortunate, doesn't it? First of all, I think he's a little lucky. I don't think he saw this, dude. Colorado asks, is this the cow opening? Dude, it might be. I'm not an expert on the cow opening. But that maybe this is the cow, buddy. Maybe this is the cow. So boom, 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 and you still lose the bishop. Right. Okay. So, knight c5. It's a little bit more logical for him to play queen c5. Oh, no, he's totally right. He can't play queen c5. Excuse me. Bishop e5. Bishop b7. And now queen c6 is a superficial move because you want to play f3 anyway. Okay? So what would be better? Something like bishop f6 and then rook a d8. He could still do it now, though. Knight d7. Okay? Clever. Okay. g3. Yeah. What's one more pawn move? But how about rook e6, Bows? How about rook e6? I want to put the rook there anyway, and I want to do this. So I don't want to weaken myself. He wants to play bishop f6 anyway. Bishop f5. Okay. Snip, snop. And then we lose a coconut. Rook g8. It looks like we're down a lot. It looks like we're down a lot of coconuts. Okay. So, black takes on e4 without thinking at all. And the obvious thing to say is if he just plays rook f6, there's no drama. There's no drama. Whereas when he takes, he's going to lose a coconut. So look at this person playing super fast. And now, I mean, we're still poor, but yeah, we got a fighting chance. Actually, here, I mean, it's bad, but I think our primary goal here should be to advance the pawn, because see that the rook is holding the g8 square, and then after rook d8 we're going to get bullied. Does he find rook d8? No. He's still doing okay. He should have played rook d8. Much stronger, actually. Now, is he making life difficult for himself? I don't know. White wins. What is this guy doing? Oh, black lost on time up here. Okay. All right, exciting game. So what are some of the lessons here? That when we play against the cow or the hippo or anything, we just want to continue playing good opening principled moves. Okay. And it's a lesson for anybody out there, especially if you don't know. It doesn't have to be against the cow or whatever, but just continue to play building moves if you don't know. Default to moves that build your position. He was a material merchant. Okay, good. Let's go back. Next up, we have Pahempt. And funny. There's no, Behempt doesn't say anything. Let's go see what's going on with Behempt. Behempt joined us ages ago, but hasn't been logging much stuff. All right. Has got a very nice FIDE rating. Looks like it went up just enough to graduate. Hasn't done any tactics tests or anything. Okay. Clubs. I've got the French club. Nice. Okay. Activity, not a lot going on. Games, nothing going on. So, Behempt, you've joined the dojo, bud. It's clear what we're going to ask of you. Get this heat map going. You know, don't just join Planet Fitness and then don't go to the gym. That's no bueno. You know, join the Planet Fitness and then go to the gym, put the games in, and you got it going on. Okay. Trey, thank you for being here. Okay, let's go back. Boom. Next up, we have Carl. What does Carl have to say? 34 years old with an on and off relationship with chess since learning to play in elementary. Hardly played after high school until about 30, roughly 1400 USCF, when I started playing here and there again. Doing what I can to be better at chess while still loving the game. I'm not super active on Discord, but don't hesitate to DM me if you are looking for a training buddy. Cool. Yeah. And you can see that he's been doing some tactics. Let's see if I go hours worked. Okay. Got a little opening going on there too. There's his USCF. And he's gone up, dude, from his 1400 youth rating. Okay. So let's see what's going on. Carl doesn't have any clubs. And dude, he also has been around for a while, but only recently has started to really log his stuff over here. Games. All right, here we go. Carl Labonce against Rafael Kasparov. Now, if I was going up with a dude named Rafael Kasparov, wait a second. It says time 1 + 0. Is that true? We're hoping that the time is in correctamundo. A note for all of the games in this tournament. Well, maybe the time, let's just pretend that the time wasn't marked correctamundo. Okay, so here we go. All right. Food, sleep, the usual grief of the chess player was all happening here. All right, fine. 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 Boop. 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 All right. So, very spicy position. And white goes for it with bishop with f4. And Carl writes, this is the first move that had me wondering what I should be doing. I got this idea of pushing the queen off of the d1 h5 diagonal, and if white isn't careful, then they'll be cramped. Yeah, bishop g4 looks pretty good. The issue with bishop g4, though, is after bishop g4, you can't push g4 yourself. Right, so first of all, very hectic position here. Oh my gosh. Okay, definitely this would be good if we had some times to know how you thought about this position. I have big questions about knight g4, knight e3 stuff. You can throw in bishop b6 when you want to. Let's give your move a try. So check to the queen, check to the king. Oh, and it goes bishop f2. That doesn't seem right. So I was thinking king h1, bishop e3. It is true. You do got that going on, Carl, okay? You got that. That's you know, I guess if you see that from a mile away, you're like, yeah, I got to do that. I'm going to put that queen over there, buddy. Yeah. Okay. I like your variation then. So you have sold me on this variation. Knight e4. Okay, I might like what you're doing. Now we can take back with the queen on g5. We're doing good. Our development is stronger. Snip, snop, fg5. And now you go for it with knight g5. But we can't cry. He can't play queen g5 because his pawn on c7 is hanging. Okay. This is where I thought I saw force perpetual at minimum and possibly mate, but missed the move queen f4. I wasn't feeling good and wanted the game to be over. Okay. First of all, definitely spicy situazione here. Whew. We'd like to believe in your posiciones. We'd like to believe in it. Let's go back for a second. We'd like to believe because your pieces make a lot of sense here. Is it hot? Yes, it's very hot. I gotta tell you that it is hot. How about c6? And the crazy intention would be that if fg, we're going to play knight e4. Well, the heat is on. Well, quite frankly, the heat is on. It's easy for me to throw these moves out. But this is the kind of thing I think we want to analyze some. Because your development advantage is so strong here that it shouldn't surprise us that we have something. And it's a little shocking that white is giving us trouble here. So I don't even want to be part of it, right? And you say hg5, the other option and the one that keeps the game going. This is pretty even. Yeah, it's probably fair. I think he deserves death, by the way. I don't think he deserves even. Knight g5, and now he finds h4. And then knight h3. You thought he had a force perpetual. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Now, just optically, it doesn't look like you have a perpetual to me. Queen f4. Yeah. But just to kind of stress the point, even if the guy played rook f2, we don't have a perpetual, right? Okay, we missed queen f4. I guess we're toast now. That's cruel and mean and sad. Okay. Oh, man. By the way, what's kind of crazy about chess nowadays is, like back in the day, this was a way for white to just kind of get a game. That was like the thing. And now it's like some deep theory, man. There's all these moves and g5 thrown in there and yada, yada, and knight b5. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Okay. And I don't really understand bishop a5. Maybe it's some move. What do you... It's not too hard. He's threatening c7, buddy. Yeah. And bishop f4 seems like way too much. But it's a contender. So rating's not that high, but these people are busting out some sauce that, oh my gosh. Let's just check. I should tell you what, check the Elite Chess, our database. No, we don't have anything. Let's just go back a couple moves. So, right, bishop g3, cd5, knight b5's been played a bunch, bishop a5's been played a bunch, and f4 is a novelty. There we go, f4 is a novelty. So, look, this is the first move that had me wondering. We're talking about a game between 1600s, and they're all busting out moves until move 14. Oh, man. Yeah. So, that's crazy. So, let me just stress something. It's a little bit unfair that this person is playing some deep theory, though I guess it's also unfair that you're doing it to him. But what I encourage you to do is to do some deeper analysis on this position, because it feels like there's a lot of interesting options for you. And what you did also seems good. I'm just saying there's other things that were going on. And he, I think, has broken the rules of chess in this position. And I think C6 is real interesting here. Let me just humor me for a second here. So, I mean, it's hot. I don't know. It's hard to even tell you what's going on here. Yeah. Okay, good. That was a very interesting game, Carl. You shouldn't feel bad about that one. And the knight takes g5 is more like a calculation thing, right? And this, though, is a position like, there's a book by Bronstein, I don't know what it's called, 100 Open Games. It reminds me of these positions. He talks a lot about e4, e5 things. Anyways, he goes deep in the analysis of these positions, and that's the kind of skill you're going to want to develop to play these positions well. I think it's obviously madness, right? It's obviously like, oh my gosh, what a mess. What a mess. Woo. Okay, Carl, we hope to see you again soon. You're doing great. Kraai, hit the grad show button, buddy. Next up, we have Tom. You probably guessed my name is Tom. 36, aus Frankfurt, and working as a data analyst. The fitting profession for a chess player, which I became on a gray Christmas day during COVID. I quickly rose to 13, 14, but had a long and frustrating plateau after that. Not afraid of work, but a weakness of mine is meandering between resources and approaches. That's why I decided to join the dojo. Dreaming of reaching 2,000 someday. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, what we're going to do, check this out. I'm going to pop this out. Bam! And I'm going to hit the ye old heat map. Look at this guy. This dude is doing it. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, he's really bringing it right. Yeah, okay. Great, let's go back. Bang, bang. That looks beautiful. And yeah, don't meander through different resources. Put in, like, if you got a heat map looking like that, things are going to happen for you, right? Things are going to happen. So this is beautiful. He kind of joined right before the heat map started for real. And yeah, I mean, just every day, every single day. Clubs. Oh, he needs to be part of the German dojo. And is there a Frankfurt dojo? Maybe. All right, so this is Tom against No Name. And let's see over here. Do we got times? No times. Let's go game review. Pop, pop. Second game in a 1 game per month classical tournament. Great. Great. That is, I mean, especially if you're working like perfect situation to get a game in. And not only is it something that isn't going to wreck you physically with like the way a longer tournament would, but it then gives you time to reflect on it after it happens. Okay. Okay. This is the point where he is out of preparation and started thinking. Okay, good. Now, this is a very common approach at this level. I always feel it's a little highfalutin in terms of what's going on here, and it's definitely too highfalutin for your opponent because your opponent instantly blunders with rook b8. Yeah. Okay. So, rook b8, big blunder. Now we're going to see your technique. Thank you very much. Good. Fine. Fine. H3, maybe you're doing fine. Knight e4. That doesn't impress. H3, fine. That isn't it. He's just losing his mind. That's what we call losing their minds. So, you could do a variety of things. What do you choose? Boom, 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 fine. Boom, boom, great. H5, push past, completely crushing this fool. H4, D5, great. Like this move, counterattacking the center and opening the files for my rooks. Great, and we're just not afraid of H3. We're going to say thank you very much. Rook h5 isn't much. Rook h1. Beautiful game. Beautiful game. Yeah. And of course, we'll say the obvious. As you go up the ladder, you'll get less mistakes like rook b8. And, you'll get players who will play a little bit more tenacious here. And then we'll start asking, like, understanding of the position here, which is, it's an interesting position that we got going. It's called the Carlsbad structure, right? Okay, great. Oh, that was just very enjoyable. Also, a really cool profile here too. Just joined the dojo and he's crushing it. That's what I want to see. All right, grad show, buddy. Next up, we have Elvis. Elvis. It's a famous player from Estonia named Elvis, and when he first got to the United States, everybody called him Elvis. We didn't appreciate the genius of the man. Now, Elvis here also joined fairly recently and crushing the heat map here, so that's cool to see. Lee Chess is flying up, as it should be expected when you do the test bows and you do these other things. The tests, maybe something's going on with the tests. Maybe he had a couple bad tests to start with. We are working, we have so many projects in Dojo Land, but one of them is to improve the UI, user interface, on our tests. So we're hoping that will be better. I think a lot of people come to the tests and they're kind of new to it, and they're like, oh, this is so weird, this is so hard, this is so much harder than like the other things. And so we're trying to make that a little easier. I forgot to open the graduation text to the last two players. Thank you very much, Hannes. I'm going to do that after I finish. Actually, let's just go back. So we had Carl. I believe we did that. Now, Elvis doesn't have a graduation text. This, by the way, this is only for today. Somehow this got collapsed, and we're fixing that. But let's check out Tom. Oh, yeah, Tom, dude. Originally planned to play a 7-round OTB, but then my 1-year-old fell on off his bed. I didn't want to leave the family alone. Second time I had to cancel an OTB. Dang. So I decided to switch to ChessCom Rapid, played a bunch of games, was quite amazed by my progress since joining the dojo. Nice. Attributed this mainly to Vetishnik's book, Breaking the Elements of Tactics Down. Great. Now I can set up and recognize game-winning tactics much more often, as well as limiting my own blunders significantly. Second helpful thing was the visualization training with don't move until you see it. Great. Maybe a similar training is something for the dojo. Excited to continue working. The margin of error gets noticeably slimmer and there are more endgames. So this will have to be a focus of my work. Great. Okay. So everyone's comments are visible. I just have to click the button. And I think this is a little technical problem that will be fixed by next week. All right. So here's Elvis. And let's see here. European. The Europeans are working harder than everybody else. Let's just say it. Here he is playing some chump named Christopher USA. Let's go see Christopher USA. So, do we have some time graph? We do. Let's go check it out. We could argue that maybe he didn't use enough time. That's what it looks like. We're going to see as we get into it. I might return to this. All right, game review. So, that's always the case. We always think we played well, but then, if you analyze, you're like, there's always going to be, unless you play some total chump and they just roll over, there's going to be questions. So far, you're playing great. Bishop f5. Now, my sense of this position is that g4 is a nice move here. And the point is that you will win the e4 pawn and have you'll have a real central control lockdown. So e3, d5, poor. And you're right, we got a pawn structure as in the French defense. White has 2 tempi, so white is already ready to take one of black's pawns. Good. And Yeah, black has to be real careful. The good news for black is now g4, I can take it with tempo. And probably he needs to think of a setup where, he does maybe something like this, So d5 definitely incorrect. Also loss of time. Queen b3. cd5 looked also strong. I don't understand knight c6. Where is he going? Check to the miserable king. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Thank you. Oh, now we just get in a bad endgame. Lost endgame. Okay. a3. Okay. a5. Simple chess. Okay. Not developing his coconuts. Reasonable. Snip. Allows black to make an attack. Yeah, so this is a mistake. And the main thing that you should say, the main little thing going through your mind should be, bows. I really don't want to help him develop. And now that b4 square is kind of tasty for him. Now we got ourselves a spicy momentito. Where's the king going? e2. Uh-oh. This is a great example of compensation, Okay, he plays f5. Surya Wong's knife, remind me what your handle is, and I'll go back and check. But I think I did everybody's business that had a comment. Now, f5, I'm not a fan of. Because you should give back a pawn. And after you give back said pawn, maybe you're in the game, right? Whereas black should really be focusing on getting his rook in, and there's two moves that come to mind. So rook c2, followed by king d3, rook b2, for example, or king d7. So this is an example of a bad move because knight c5, correct. Give up a pawn. Give up a pawn. Oh my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Check, that wasn't it. Check, that wasn't it. I'm out of here. e4, why would it say? Just go king g3. What has the guy done? You're practically developed. Oh no, e4. Ah. Okay, e4. 33 seconds were played. Now, let's go back to ye olde time graph, my friends. Okay, over here. Bang. Ye olde time graph. Move 24. You're moving way too fast, buddy. Look at that. Move 24. You got loads of time here. What are we doing? What are we doing, buddy? Yeah. Now you do some computer analysis here with king g3, but just king g3. What are we doing? Even king f4, he's not doing anything to us. We're suddenly developed. Now we're like pinning ourselves and stuff. Oh, God. Activity. All right, so one takeaway that you should have here is that you have a grief with allowing your opponent epic activity, as in epic. Now, this one's controversial because you now have f3. And your computer says f3. So if he wanted just an easy game, he could take and play rook f2, and then he's not worse. So here, and then, it looks like he can win a piece with bishop e4. Not surprising. That's what happens. That's what happens when we don't develop our coconuts. f3. So this person, by the way, too, what is he doing? Playing with he played rook c3 36 seconds. You got to think. Chess is a game about thinking. That isn't it. Now we hold. Now he's just toast. Oh, he's just moving around and around without thinking. I don't know, you didn't have to do that. Look at him, he's just checking with no point. Thank you very much. Oh, just giving it all up. Oh, what is he doing? Nobody understands. Now, In general, you really want to put your pawns on the dark. So the dark controls the dark, and you control the light. The d5 is an inaccuracy because even if you are winning this position, because you are giving him the option of doing some blockading. Okay? He doesn't understand that. Complete lack. I don't know what. E5 looks good. And now we're just going to go take the coconut. Okay, good. The problem here, Elvis, buddy, you got to slow down. Got to slow down and do not allow activity. Activity, my friend. You're going after the pieszkis and you're going to get whacked. You're going to get whacked. Okay, so we're going to go back for Carl, see what his comments were. Maybe I guess I missed it. Back here. Thank you, Carl, for telling me. Earned the graduation back in Feb 24 after a tournament in February, but I got laid off. And so chess has taken a massive backseat. I would think if I got laid off, chess would take a front seat. I'm getting back to it now, so I haven't actually used the program since the beginning of the year and never finished analyzing all of my games from the North American or Cardinal Open. Maybe I can save my graduation profile review for later once I have another tournament and do proper analysis. What I appreciate the most about the dojo is the structure, and I know that despite being out of chess for 8 months, I can jump back into the training program and it will get me back on track. It's also great to meet people at tournaments and review our games since I normally would be alone at a tournament. Oh, that's great, dude. That's great. Click on Carl one more time. Right. Okay, that's great, man. Yeah. Yeah, you know. You're young, Carl. You're young. Being laid off, unless you have a family, maybe you do. But unless you have a family, it's good to be laid off. You get some time to play some chess, dude. Okay, that was Elvis. And now we have Jakob. Let's see what Jakob says over here. Oh my God, Kraai. Do you see how many things you have left? Buddy. Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to get done today. God dang, you guys are trying to kill me with your graduations. At this point in the show, this is where I'm like, oh, please don't have a game to review. Jakob says, very happy to cross the 1,700 FIDE. Thanks to the dojo. Recently got a coach who recommended to mainly focus on tactics calculation and classical games. I noticed the dojo has a strong focus on the classics instead of more recent model games. What is the reason for that? Well, for the classic games, which is something I think we're going to review for Dojo 4.0, what we have is we have it built up so every graduation you do a different World Champions games. And so it does eventually get up there, but that's in the higher cohorts. So part of the idea of the classics was, as people marched through the program, to get a sense of classic players. So that's the reason we have it that way. But we are going to rethink that. So this is Jakob. He's doing great. Let's give Jakob a follow. Kind of intermittently going on there. If I change it to dojo points, similar. His FIDE is 1526. And that's the Dutch rating. He's up to 1612 there. Pretty reasonable, or around the same as the FIDE. Clubs. The Dutch dojo. Nice. I want to go back and play in Holland, dude. You know, I want to go back. I got that Dutch last name. I feel like I got some cred over there. All right, let's go. Games. And here we go. This is Jakob von Galen. You know, that's the fancy. Oh, Jakob. I was about to say how fancy your name is, but you don't. This one doesn't have any annotations. Let's try another one. Boom. No, Jakob. What's going on, bud? Oh no, Jakob. Oh no. Well, Jakob, we hope that we can see some annotations from you soon. Next up, we have Manta. What does Manta have to say? Monta looks like they joined. No, they joined last year, but just recently they started with the scoreboard. And it's the heat map, my friends. It's the heat map. Okay. Tactics rating pretty high, but just with one test. So that's maybe just one small data point. Aus Deutschland. Nice. Let's give them a follow. Games. Oh, no games. I have to say, I've been up since 4:30. I'm a little thankful. I'm a little thankful. All right, next come STG. Next up is STG. And I'm going to give him a follow. Kind of weird. Did some work way back when. Hasn't done anything much recently. 1483 and stuff. Hasn't done much. Let's see, clubs. Boston, New Hampshire. Great. Do we have games here? Nothing. Well, maybe my job got a little easier here, buddy. I'm going to take off this jacket. No says, don't worry, everyone. I just caught up from the YouTube stream on 2x speed. I'm here to save the day. Oh, man. Do some of the graduates during the Ding games, right? Maybe we would. All right, so that's STG. We're hoping we see more of STG and what's going on in STG's life. Joined kind of recently, but a couple months. All right. So, next up, where's STG? We have Hannes, and Hannes says, this one took a bit longer than the ones before. A major reason behind the delay is that I decided to focus solely on over-the-board games when it comes to classical time controls. So I changed my preferred rating from Lichess to Salo, I don't know what that is, and had to play some games to stabilize my rating. In the beginning of my OTB, I was nervous and shaking, losing all 3 games I played in the spring. In the summer, I participated in National Blitz, and getting in a lot of rated Blitz game helped me to get more comfortable playing over the board. Like I said, a lot of times people are freaking out when they switch to 3-dimensional chess. After that, I scored 3.5 and even managed to beat a 1900 rated FIDE player, dang, in a national team match. As of late, most of my dojo work has been doing tactics, sparring, and annotating my games. On top of the dojo work, I've been reading some non-dojo works, mainly tournament books and books with instructive games and openings I play, and trying out solitaire chess. Also been attending my chess club's weekly event where we analyze games together and play casually while teaching and learning from each other. Okay, great. Hannah's in the chat. Nice. The Finnish national rating. Okay, that's super cool. I've never been to Finland, so maybe that could be part of my chess journey after I get rid of these nasty kids that are molesting my life. Hannes is doing a lot of tactics over here, and maybe we'll take a look at what's going on. Graduated 3 times. Very impressive. So this is the Finnish rating. By the way, if there's enough players in the Finnish, we could maybe put that in there for a conversion and give more work to Nose, to have him do a conversion from the Finnish rating, Okay. It would also allow us just to connect it even before we forced Nose to do all this nasty work. Okay, this is looking good. Clubs, do we have a Finnish dojo? I really want a Finnish dojo. Advantages of Finnish dojo. You'd have somebody who knew your crazy language. You would then be able to tell Jack, hey, we got these members and they want their rating, their Salo connected to the dojo. These are the advantages. All right. Activity. What's this non-dojo he's doing? Nice guy. Okay, that looks great. Kind of like what he described. All right, this breakdown looks fine. Let's see, we got some games. We got loads. This looks like a OTB game, even though it says JIC 84. Wait a second. Let's do this one. This one looks like it's more of a, for sure, and this is the one I think he wants. So yeah, we want to cover this one. First, we got times. Let's go hit time graph. Bang. So I think this is an OTB, and it looks like he was keeping the times. So that's super cool, right? Okay, so looks very reasonable with the times. I'm going to mark this as reviewed, and let's get into it. He's playing a much higher rated opponent here. Fine. And knight c6 is a little weird. But it's a developing move, so how bad can it be? Bishop d3. Queen e7. Now it is getting a little weird. Queen c2. e5. His opponent's getting pretty frisky over here. d5. So he spent some time calculating de5. I think d5 is definitely the critical question. e4, here he comes. Well, we got to say, Black is also thinking, and this is Black is playing pretty interesting chess. And if I was going to do a take back for you, it would be here on queen c2, and I'd rather play knight e2 and then just castle. And I feel pretty good about that situazione. Now after queen c2, we actually have some questions to ask, to deal with after d5, e4. Okay, queen d3. And you say c d7, queen d7. Good move. All right, so here we go. Queen d3, pop, and now an interesting position. You say Black is slightly better here. I considered the sequence starting from d5 okay for White because it leaves Black with double pawns. However, it also lets Black finish development faster than White. Yeah, and you owe a tempo with your bishop. So very interesting. Hannes is saying I should check the game with Jick. All right, we could do that. Let's go back. All right, first time. Oh my gosh, look at this one, you guys. Look at that one. That was a real Bao's time graph, buddy. That's a real one, man. Look at that. That's the real deal, man. We're going to see some hectic thinking. Okay, good. All right, game review. That other game, by the way, seemed amazing. All right, so this is an... okay, wait a second. Oh, okay, so right. Because the name was written as Jick84, I was thinking to myself, oh, that's an online game. That's why I was preferring the other one. But it's actually somebody from the dojo who he knows over there, and they're getting together. So that's great. So far, so good. So far, so good. Okay. Knight d7. This is a minor inaccuracy. Well, I don't know. Take it easy, Kraai. Yeah, I think it's a minor inaccuracy. You should consider knight g4. And now knight d2 is really the setup that White's trying to achieve in this opening. So that's why knight g4 is more of a question, I think, than knight d7. When you play, actually just looking at this position, right, it's important to see this is your good bishop. And one of the reasons the King's Indian lives at all is it's not super easy to get that bishop on a nice square, right? And so bishop e3, the whole intention is, oh, I get knight d2 and then unmolested. So your opponent doesn't get it, and I feel like you don't get it either. And now knight g4 finds it. Bishop g5, and now also bishop f6, but f6 I'm sure is playable. Knight c5, okay. Knight d2, knight h6, f3, good. Black needs a good move here. He plays queen e8. And here's where they're tanking. Now, by the way, one of the things that's interesting about the King's Indian is it's an opening that really, at all levels, you just get incredible tanks. And like, even though it starts off with like a couple moves that both sides know, once we get into this territory, it's just going to be hectic, you know? Because one mistake and it's all over. All right, so you sink the knight. Boom. Queen f7. Queen c2. f5. Okay. Standard play. Knight b3. Now, one of the things that's confusing about this position for white is that black wants to trade pieces, and black will eventually make some drama against us on the king side. So it's important to see that we need a plan if we're going to play knight b3 and take c5. I don't instantly see what that plan is. Let's go see how it goes. Knight b3, snip, and now a3. So it looks like you're saying that you're going to play b4 someday. Bishop a6 is played, and that's a mistake. Okay. Why is bishop a6 a mistake? Because this bishop has one job only, and it's to help mate white. Might not seem like we're mating him yet, but that's the idea. a3 is controversial because now, after a4, I don't know what white's plan is. Now, would it have been sad to play b3, a3, b4? Yes, it would. Yes, it would. But when you take on c5, that's part of the issue. So both sides have an understanding problem here about the king's Indian. Okay, bishop a6. And now you should, if he took your knight with his good bishop, you should dance with joy that he would take that thing, right? All right. You're right. I treated the knight because I wanted to hold on to it because of the closed nature of the position. When discussing the position with a stronger player at the club, he pointed out that it's not going to be closed forever, which I might want to take into consideration. All right. And let's say the spicy move here, I don't know if it's right, but the one we should probably consider is b4 to light him up. Okay, knight c3, bishop f6, good move. And now one of the things we should say is bishop a6 is positionally wrong, but he has the notion that if you do go back, which you do, then he gets to play bishop f6. Bummer. And now he's making a little progress on us. We couldn't do it before because of snip, snop, and knight c7. Okay, now, queen d7. I don't like that move. At multiple points in this game, if black decides to open lines with fe, white can capture knight e4. Yeah, it's basically always a mistake. So I think the standard plan here should be queen e7, and black has a nice game. The intentions are someday to play bishop g5, someday bishop h4, maybe fix the knight. We're going to push, baby push. The bishop needs to go back. That's where the bishop belongs. All right, queen d7. So you're in the way of the bishop. Rook b1. Okay, rook a b8. And now queen a4. Yeah, you should play queen a4 because, hey, get those ladies off. You're not going to get mated anymore, friend. Queen d2. Bishop g7. Poor move. The bishop had some use over there. Knight a2. Okay. a4. Let's go. B3. So some stronger players suggested B3. That would be a highfalutin move, B3. Yeah, I don't know if you're actually strapping the queen. Now, I want to stress what black is playing on the wrong side of the board over here, right? Black needs to be mating, and he's not mating. So, knight c3, and then you say he sneaked his queen in. So, it's funny you say this is equal, but I mean, I can imagine, no, this isn't, this position might be many things. It might be many things, but it's not equal. Okay. So, by the way, I think knight c3 is fine. And you say queen b3 is equal. You talk about knight b5. That looks good for white. And then bishop d1. Yeah, you can even play that. So notice, as long as this whole adventure that black is going on, if he doesn't get something over there, then it's very simple what we say. We say, you have totally lost any chance of the initiative on your side of the board, and I will eventually wreck you. I also have the space advantage. All right? Okay, so queen b3, queen d1, and I think he can play bishop c4 now. Yeah, right. Queen takes, bishop d1. And now we're obviously in big trouble. He plays c4. Now, one thing to observe, think about, is black. How long does it take black to realize they got to fix their coconuts? Because a lot of times I see positions like this and they don't fix their coconuts. But it is definitely time. It's definitely time to fix the coconuts. And c4 does not feel like a move which feels the urgency of fixing the coconuts. So c4 doesn't seem good, and a very simple default move would be fe4. And then if fe4, we'll take and then play knight g4. Our coconuts are free. We want bishop h6 doing some things, right? So c4 does not fix the coconuts. Bishop takes, and you, I think, rightly criticize pawn takes, because now that rook on b3 would be such a nice piece to talk to the b2 square. Rook fd1. And so as an example, we want to find a way to mess with him, right? To not let him in. And rook fd1, it's a little bit unclear what your motivation is. It looks like maybe you want to play rook d3 or something. If we can, and I don't know if we can, we want to make this knight g4 business no bueno. And maybe the very simple rook bc1. That way, on fe, I'll play knight e4. Basically, with every move, I just want to prevent black from getting out over there. So now he unfortunately gets out. Okay, knight f7. Knight f5 looks very strong to play knight d4 next. h4, I don't get it. h5, I don't get it. There's no reason. Bishop h6, I got a lot of different moves. Good move. Okay, good. Good move. Okay, he finds that. Now, you now play your rook d3. Good. Passive. Bishop e1. And now he's going to drop a pawn. So you talk about rook a8. Good. These are very good notes, by the way. Very good notes. And if you felt like I was yelling at you, if you felt like I was yelling about the positional ideas, you should take those to heart, because if you understand why I'm yelling at you, the whole King's Indian will be like opened to you. The King's Indian is not about memorizing a bunch of weird lines. It's about those ideas that I was talking about. And once you get it, it's a weapon. You don't need to even know any theory once you get it. Okay, yeah, this is terrible. Thank you very much for the coconut. Now you got your coconut back. You're doing great. Your knight is amazing. His knight's terrible. King g7, okay. Okay, you could maybe play a4 first. And you talk about king f2, right? So we let him in. I think he should definitely play bishop e3 check, for sure. Good move, king f2. Now you see what I mean though with a4? That's what we can call fixatio. Fixatio of this dude here. Yeah. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Now it's getting frisky. And you play hg5. I would prefer king e2 because on pawn takes, bishop takes, we're controlling the minors from getting out, whereas here we're encouraging them to get out. It is true, though. You have that nice trick. So leave him alone, Jesse. Bishop b4. Good move. I think he's just toast here. Reasonable. Good move. And now you're winning. An unintentional spicing of the position with d takes c6. So it looks like we missed it. And rook a4 looks completely winning because, yes, this pin is nasty. Maybe we shouldn't play rook a4. Maybe it's a little too much. You know, we could do other things too, like the simple bishop d2 or c3, and then do our business. But any case, this is too much because it's unnecessary. Maybe you're still winning. I don't know. All right. Rook c8. Now, let me say something obvious. In this position, you stop doing annotations for a while. And, you know, certainly there's going to be things here to talk about in all these moves. e4. And then you take. For example, does bishop b4 win on the spot? These are the questions I want to ask, you know. Check. His e4 certainly didn't make too much sense. Well, it looks like we got to be winning this one. All right, so there it is. We're definitely crushing this dude. Great annotation. Yeah, really well done. And one of the things that we can say is that any opening you can learn to play well, but a structure opening like the King's Indian or the French, that has its own rules. And so hopefully when I'm yelling at you, you're not like being like Kraai is a jerk, but he's like, Kraai is saying these are the important principles of the position that both sides should try to understand. Okay, beautiful. So let's carry on. And Benwick was in the chat. Benwick also says, for mine, the game versus SBC McManus was won, so we're going to check that one out. First, we're going to see what Benwick says. Kraai, fix the grad show scene. So, I really got a lot of juice from sweating out the visualization course. I used it to improve my visualization. It's been a long day, my friends. I've been up since 4:30. But also my discipline. Once I was sure I had the line, I still made sure to recalculate it after every move in the sequence. This is helping cure a bad habit of not looking afresh after every move in a chess game, just in case I am missing something. And this is translating to games. The other thing that helped me this month was doing more tactics training, just 15 minutes a day from the task. I chose to use chess steps for this to keep me off screens. Long live analog chess, and long live the dojo. Nice. Okay. So here we go. This is Benwick. He's got a great heat map, and you can see, actually let's pop this out. Bang! You can see that he's on it with the tactics. And so these light green things, right? There's just a little bit, that's just a little bit of tactics done. Actually, in here I can change it to hours worked. And I think this is where he's talking about 15 minutes a day. And one of the great things about the heat map is it's like, yeah, I got to do something, you know? Even if it's a small thing, I got to get on there and do something. Okay, boom. We're going to go back to the grad show. Boom. Former investment professional now working for charity. Okay. Teaching chess in prisons. Wow. Amazing. All right, let's see what's going on here. English Chess Federation, doing well. Clubs, European. We got to be part of that English one. We got to be part of the English one. All right. Activity, that looks great. Trusting the dojo. He's trusted the dojo. Thank you for doing that. Games. And SBC McManus is the one he wants to look at. So let's check this out. Here's our time graph. Boom. And it looks reasonable. Now, we will yell at him if this is some end game and they just started cranking because they didn't know how to think in an end game. We might yell at him later. We'll see. We'll go back to game review. And I have to take a quick pause for the bows. So I'll be right back. Welcome to Dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Geisy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that ain't hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, brought and...
Now the question is, Kraai, are you fading? Oh, dude, I'm fading. The fade is definitely happening. All right, so this is Benwick against SB McManus. 2 dojoers here. So played on a physical board in front of Lee Chess as part of the Dojo Round Robin. Let me just say Dojo Round Robin. I'm really pumped on it. We are working on inviting people from the outside world to take part in our tournaments. Hopefully that will be an exciting way for people to get a taste of the dojo. Okay, F4, fun. Good. A6, poor. Okay. What would be more reasonable? Well, knight c6 and then plant the knight, right? Also just develop. A6, bishop c4. So I spent 2 minutes here thinking whether to develop this bishop to c4 or kingside to g2. I was bothered by a future e6, but I should remember in these spots that e6 and g6 is already a concession anyway. Okay. So a couple things. We talked about the King's India. This is in a lot of ways like a King's India. And this bishop, he's going to get whacked a little bit, you know? He's going to get whacked a little bit. Makes me uncomfortable. So I think the default plan should definitely be like d3, g4, bishop g2, castles. That's my just sense of it. Because I'm worried your bishop's going to get whacked a bunch. Okay, and you're right, e6. We're going to give it a chance, though. Okay, here we go. b5, bishop b3, knight d7. Now, this move seems wrong to me because his knight wants this square. That's the one he wants, bud. That's the one he wants. So still knight c6. Bishop d5 doesn't concern us. We have knight d4. d3, good move. A3. Don't like it. You're obsessed with the bishop. If he goes and takes your bishop, it costs him time to do so. A3, and now your bishop's a chump, right? Okay, so we had an earlier game today where someone fetishized the bishop. And yeah, what's the correct move here? It's clear. We want a castle, right? Castle. So A3, E6, castles, good move. H5, bad move. So what should they do? They should castle. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Okay, now F5, you come up with the most spicy move, and I have a lot of sympathy with this. The only reason to maybe not dig it is if the knight on E5 can stay there. But honestly, he's so behind in time that I don't think he can stay there. So, because you have D4. If he had already the pawn on C5, it would make me more nervous about this. But this is looking great. Boom, boom. Very dangerous for him to light your bishop up like that. Castles. Oh, this ain't it. Boom, nice. And then bishop G5, it's probably gone. It's probably already gone. Now, he does have knight G4. Let's see. Did you miss it? Let's read what you write. My third and final 3-minute think. 3 minutes? 3 minutes? You got more than 3 minutes, Bows? I noted that black could not add another defender, but the knight could move with tempo on the white queen. Knight E4 attacks the queen, but hangs to knight E4, right? Knight G4 is more challenging. If white follows up by taking the queen, black will take the white queen, and it is honors even. I'm not sure I would know what honors even means. It is honors even. Okay, wait, where are we? White's still ahead due to the pawn structure and bishop pair, but I wanted more than this. I missed bishop c7, which comes out. Okay. I then found knight g4, queen f5, and this creates a second attack on the g6 knight. Nice, very good. So that does look just crushing. So very nice. Could have spent, it's okay to spend a little bit more time. Good move. Very nice move. Now he's hosed. Do you have to talk with that language, Kraai? Well, yes, I do. Okay, bishop d4, king h1, knight e7. That's a good attempt. But then you say thank you. You say thank you, nice move. You say thank you, nice move. And then really they should resign. Boom, very nice. So, we'll fly through the rest of the game. Very satisfying game for sure. And both players, I want to yell at you a little bit because you're in the dojo and you already know what's coming. At this level, we say this a lot on this show, you're not going to have people hanging pieces, but you're going to have people hanging tempi, right? So moves like a6 and a3, h5, clearly you guys had ideas when you played them, but, you know, if you just say, maybe this move is fine, but I'm going to really have to justify it because Kraai is going to yell at me. If you just tell yourself that, progress is going to happen because Kraai, if you just have the evil Kraai in your thoughts, who's going to say some nasty stuff, well, you know, you're going to think before you do it. Yeah. Okay. But otherwise, a good game and a very nice finish. We could argue that, by the way, once you have a move that you think is winning, like bishop g5, spend 10 minutes on it. Because if the game's over, the game's over. Right? You got 30-second increment. You're doing fine. Okay. Well done. I like that game a lot, Benwick. So, Sergio Del Amo. Buddy, fix it. Sergio... There's no button right there. So, Sergio has done a lot of work, doesn't say anything. So let's click on Sergio. He's been active since the development of the heat map. So that looks great. Graduated once before already. It's a good looking dude. I was at the store yesterday That's this little kid I'm hanging out with, 10 years old. He calls himself the ultimate Rizzler. Now, Sergio looks like the ultimate Rizzler. I'm kind of thinking, though, I was never the ultimate Rizzler as a kid, but now I'm starting to feel it, I'm starting to feel like maybe I got the Riz. You know what I'm saying? Clubs. Oh, get a club, Sergio. All right. He is doing a lot of work. It looks like tactics and some kind of non-dojo stuff. What is it? Sukswang Members Academy course. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we got a game. Oh, we got loads. This looks like a great game too. It looks like an OTB. Do we got a time chart? Nope. Let's go game review. Market. Boom. Let's see what's going on with Sergio. Fine so far. Fine. Little soft because we're not fighting really for the central d4 square. So in this line, bishop g4 is a very intense variation. Lots of tactics. Bishop f5 definitely doesn't seem right. And nor does this, bishop d3. And you talk about bishop e3. I like bishop e2 a lot. Basically, bishop e2 sets up... Bishop e3 probably is fine too. But bishop e2 just says, look, buddy, you're going to have to take. And then when you take, I'm going to play knight c3. And I'm going to have a fiesta. Right? So bishop d3 looks like you're scared of something. And then what do? They lose a tempo. Bishop g4. Okay, so black should now take. Maybe they could even wait on taking, but taking's the safe thing because now they can say, oh, we're going to get an isolated pawn. We get to trade a piece. Great. All right, bishop g4. D takes. Okay. Rook d8. Good move. Also, maybe even stronger was castles long. So notice that d takes c5 is losing a tempo. Now, you're in a little bit of a difficult spot after bishop g4. One hilarious thing is bishop e2 would transpose to the normal business. The normal business being bishop g4. But this is just one of the many lines black can play, bishop e2. Right? So bishop g4. Yeah, very spicy position. Okay. We don't like this. I think castles long is even stronger than what he did. e5. Kind of strange, right? Kind of strange. He should, I mean, the easy way to play would be just queen takes c5 and queen takes d1 probably is also fine. So e5, thank you very much. And the rook on d5 is also not great. It can get smacked around. He plays e4. I don't think that does it for him. Knight g5, good move. He develops your king. Nota bene, that's developing our king. We got a lot of good moves. What did you do? Good. Good. Simple chess. I like it. He should have played h6 before. Now you have a tempo on the e4 pawn. Knight g4, you said thank you very much. I love pawns. Okay. Knight e3, fe, fine. Castles, rook ad1. Okay, looks fine. f5. Knight f2. Okay, we're doing great. Rook e5, superficial. Now either knight c4 or knight f3, we're killing him. Good. Fine. e4, fine. Snip, snap. Rook d7. Simple chess. Simple chess. You're doing great, Sergio. This is good chess. That's passive. Yeah. Now, is it a bummer for him now at this point? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. King f3, good move. It's not going to do anything. Good move. Good move. Oh, nice. Nice. Maybe it's simple, but it's beautiful. And it feels great. The e-pawn is now defended by the king, thus the knight can be recycled to a better square. Yeah, it feels like we should have something easier than that. King f5 looks so juicy. b5 looks juicy, intending knight b4. This looks a little slow, but of course you're in full control here. Good move. Good move. Oh, very simple. You're playing good chess here, Sergio. This is good chess. Thank you. Thank you. I understand why he does this, though, because you were about to play h4 and whack him here. Good move. Good move. Simple chess. Good. Simple chess. There we go. And now you go c6. Boom. No, that ain't it. Let's go c5. Beautiful. This isn't going to do it. Check. Oh, I thought we were going to play knight f4 check to the miserable king. But we are winning here. No problemo. Simple chess. Oh, look at this. Thank you very much. Oh, look at the beauty here. That was a great game. That was a great game. And you can yell at yourself a little bit for the opening, but what I want to stress is once we got to the position here, you played with a lot of control. And it's not, it might have, a lot of people watching this might be, oh yeah, that was simple. No, it takes some experience to have that kind of control in a position. So that was a good, good exhibition from you, Sergio. That was great. Okay, next up. Oh, Kraai, is he ever going to be done? He's got 3 more. Hit the grad show button, buddy. Nick's up next. He's done a lot of work. Let's go see. I started in 24 with a rapid rating of 1232 on ChessCom. Dang. My goal this year is to play 1 game each day and make 1,500. Playing for the last 3 years. Oh, I see. He didn't start playing in 2024. He just started the year at 1232. And joined us in late September. My first 2 years was very on and off for playing games, but I enjoyed doing puzzles when I wasn't playing. This year, I've been way more consistent playing games. I've been able to stick to my goal so far this year of at least 1 rapid game a year. I think he means a day. Hoping to improve with the help of the dojo and having more structure to my learning. Now you can see, dude has gone loco with the tactics over here, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We do hope, though, he's got a game in here for us. Let's go dojo points. Yeah. Let's click on the activity just to see this massive. It's weird. Like he's done all these tactics. Okay. How come? Okay, if I go over here, he's done a lot of mate and twos. Maybe that's his recent quest. Right? Okay, good. Clubs. UK Dojo. Good. Games. All right. So, he's playing, I think these are both dojoers here. Let me choose this one just because the name W.S. Lish is a famous one in the dojo. So, time graph, boom. Look at that bad boy. That's a pretty intense time graph, dude. They were thinking. Now, we're going to hope that when they got to move 50, things were truly clarified. Game review. All right. Good. This is in the dojo repertoire. Good. Good. Perfect. Castles. H4. All right, buddy. All right. Now, one of the things, now, by the way, you didn't have to push. And actually, I will say that on principle, what we'd really like to do first is fix the knight. But what's nice about the move is you understand the nature of the position, which is that we are claiming that we can play on the king side of the board because we have more coconuts in front of our king than white does, right? And this is kind of the thrust of the whole business. Okay, your opponent gets scared and plays h3, and now you fix your knight. Now, just to stress, it's very important that you realize you got to fix that knight. Bishop e3, knight f8, good. And now bishop e6. Now, here's where let's call it skill, in this opening comes in, because we now need a plan. And you say you wanted to develop, makes sense. And I don't know if I have anything in for, yeah, there's maybe some things I don't like about it. The move, which I think is in the spirit of the opening, looks a little insane when you first see it, but I think is G5. And is it spicy? Yes. Yes, it's spicy. It's important to see that it's not just about cranking white on the king side. It's to stop their pieces from coming to f4, and to then enable like a king g7, knight g6. Right? Maybe we could go knight e6 depending on what white plays too. Okay, very fun position. So bishop e6. Now I feel white should strongly consider knight f4. They play rook ad1. Okay, I still think knight f4. Okay, there it is. And now you give up your nice bishop. Now I don't like it as much, because see, now we really don't have any juice against the black king, or the white king. And now you lose your mind, bishop f3. Oh my gosh. Buddy, hey, whoa, slow it down. Slow it down. Slow it down, boss. Oh, man. So yeah, this is fully losing your mind over here. Now we're lost. I think bishop f5 was also a move to think about. In fact, isn't bishop h2 a mistake? Yeah, because you can force a draw now. So yeah, he needed to play bishop f5. Okay. All right. So here, and then you say check, check, and then you do a Gukesh, dude. He does a Gukesh. He's like, I can't take a draw, man. I gotta fight this one out. Yeah, this is a full Gukesh here with rook e6. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I think he blew it by giving you the draw. And now you do this thing. And I guess we're just plainly lost, dude. Yeah. Yeah, we're just toast. Oh. All right, so now white just needs some good technique, and they will be winning. Let's see how it goes. Simple chess. Simple chess. No, I don't know about that. Why go back? Okay, we're meandering here a little bit. We're doing some meandering here. By the way, what did I say in the time graph? I said, my friends, we hope they didn't get to some endgame and then start playing super fast. This is a common theme we see throughout the grad shows. People move too fast when they get to the endgame. They think it's obvious, and it's not. Okay, so for example, all these moves, they're starting to crank it out. Okay? No, it's time to think. It's time to think. Especially for white, he needs to put them away. Yeah. Well, we're in big trouble now because we just moved around and around. Okay, so this should have already been over. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Oh, no one's resigning these days. These days, no one's resigning, man. Okay, let's stop here. White wins. All right, so that was against the famous W.S. Lish, and I think bishop h3, you got to restrain yourself from. White gave you the chance to repeat. You learn, I don't know, I was about to say learn from Gukesh. Don't learn from Gukesh. He won't repeat. He's not going to repeat. And then from the openings perspective, right? Let's just start in like this position. You'll get this again, and then you want to be able to find ways to creatively creep up into White's business over there, okay? And where it's interesting and tricky and takes some time to get used to is like, when do you feel confident to play a move like G5? And also, like in all these positions, he wants to play bishop f4. He would love to, but then rook e2 happens, right? So then bishop e6 not only enables bishop f4, which dramatically cuts down on your force count against his king, but it allows this knight f4 too. Now, knight f4, it would be cool if we could just move the bishop back. But here, now he's going to take our coconut, right? Okay, good game. Next up is Liam. We got, this is our last one of the day. Grad show, Kraai hit grad show. And Liam has something to say, I think. Boom. Playing, then analyzing lots of OTB is starting to pay off. Keeping track of my activity on the dojo shows me how much more I could be doing. Great. Okay, here's Liam. The Leeds League got a beautiful looking chart. Maybe he's got a Leeds chess club. That would be a Leeds Dojo club. You can tell he had trouble with the checkmate tests over here. All right, clubs. Now, Liam, if you're listening, if you could get a Leeds club going on, yeah, the dojo would thank you, and probably you might maybe find somebody from Leeds you start sparring with and stuff. Okay, activity. Done a lot of game analysis, so that is a beautiful thing. Let's see if we got a games. We got loads. Here's Brendan Stoneham. That's a great English name. And let's see, we got some times. No times, that's okay. It's a OTB game. You know I'm fading if I say it's okay if there's no times, you know. All right, so here we go. We're going to hope that this series of opening moves was kind of known to both players. It was not. This is terrible. So, in general, a terrible thing for White to trade off their good bishop for our terrible bishop. And now knight g7. We win our pawn back. We should be doing fine. Knight c4. So there's a bunch of moves here which deserve discussion. Okay. Now here you choose the friskiest with e5, which I think is okay. I think bishop e7, fe, queen takes is also okay for you. So but let's give e5 a try. It seems right. f6. Now, what is White doing? White is not realizing that chess is a game where castling is important. Where bringing out your coconuts is something you want to do. d4. Bishop f4. I don't get it. Bang! Thank you very much. Bishop c1. What are they doing? They're not developing. No puedo developar. Okay? And we've said it before. At this level, what they will give you time and again are tempo. Tempo, tempo, tempo. So you say thank you. They're still not developing their pieces. Notice, they're just creating random threats. Bishop e2, 7, fine. Queen g4. I think this is okay, but I want to just be careful that we're not making random threats, okay? I want you to get your rooks involved in particular. So rook c8, rook g8, these are moves that come to mind. Knight f3, rook g8, knight g5, hanging all of his coconuts. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you very much. Castles, very good move. Now you're obsessed with mating him too. You're obsessed with mating him too. And honestly, what is he doing? He's just moving his queen back and forth. Thank you very much. Oh, man. You say, still not sure what to do here. My knight and bishop are very passive. I mean, you could turn those things into animals. Yeah. You played rook h8. You're playing a good game here. Rook g8. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Now we're going to test your techniqueo. Good move. Poor. f5. Very good. Very good. King e5. Knight e5 check looks horrendous for him, but okay, king e5. I understand what you're doing. It's fine. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Good. Now it's getting a little spicy, but I'm with you. Knight d6. Now, I would prefer to push the coconuts, but maybe you're going to do that next move. You are. Now, see, now we have to worry about rook coming in. The rook couldn't come in before. You say bang. Whew, it's getting hot. Oh, and he just kills himself there. Okay, so a couple things to say. We could do definitely with more annotations. For example, this is an important strategic mistake that you're going to see again and again. So we want to talk about why. And then in a position like this, we want to say, oh, my opponent's going to like lose time. And this is going to be a feature of a lot of my games, that I'm going to be playing against people who lose time. Like this, f6, he's forgetting about his coconuts over there. They got to do something. Boom. This, cheap trick. Cheap tricks. You punished it well. You punished it well, but you are going to face this kind of thing for the next couple cohorts, right? What is that doing? No Nintendo. What? Hey, Brendan. Hey, Brendan. The pieces go out of the box. They don't go back inside the box. So, yeah, your next opponents, as you get a little stronger, are going to be stronger than this. But one of the things I really like about this is you were able to show how to play when they just make these chump threats. And that's going to be part of anyone's journey coming out of the 1,000 blocks. Okay, so there it is. No, it's not over. We have one more, Kraai. You see, you always think you're done. You're not done. One more. This is Jason. And Jason looks like he started pretty recently. He's on it over here. We got some clubs. No clubs. Activity. He's done some stuff. Maybe no games. We're going to find out. Doing a lot of tactics and endgame. All right. Games. Nothing. So, my friends, I'm exhausted. I've been at this since 4:30. I get a day off tomorrow, but then we're back at it. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every morning, buddy. Every morning. Dingukesh, dingukesh, dingukesh. It's been great. Me and David have been really enjoying it, even if our physical health is suffering.